Welcome to the 170th episode of the Bullvine Podcast. As winter tightens its grip on dairy farms across the Northeast U.S. and Canada, we're diving into essential strategies for weathering severe storms. From feed stockpiles to power backups, today's episode covers crucial tips to keep your herd healthy and milk flowing when blizzards hit. Whether you're in the thick of a storm or preparing for the next one, this guide is your key to emerging stronger on the other side.
Welcome to the Bullvine Podcast, your go-to source for all things dairy farming and cattle breeding. I'm Bella, and today we're tackling a timely topic that's on every dairy farmer's mind right now.
That's right, Bella. With winter in full swing across the Northeast U.S. and Canada, we're diving into Weathering the Storm, a dairy farmer's guide to blizzard survival. I'm Douglas, and we've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's get started.
Absolutely, Douglas. As we speak, many of our listeners might be dealing with howling winds, deep snow, and temperatures cold enough to freeze the horns off a bull. But before we dive into the specifics, can you give us some context on how significant this issue is for our dairy farming community?
Certainly, Bella. According to the USDA's National Agricultural Statistics Service, as of 2022, there are approximately 29,000 licensed dairy herds in the U.S., with a significant concentration in the Northeast and Upper Midwest. These regions are particularly vulnerable to severe winter weather.
That's a lot of farms at risk. Has there been an increase in severe winter weather events?
Indeed, there has, Bella. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration reports that over the past decade, we've seen a 2% increase in the frequency of extreme winter storms in the Northeast U.S. This trend underscores the growing importance of proper preparation.
Wow, that really puts things in perspective. So let's jump right in with preparation strategies. What's the first thing farmers should focus on?
Feed and bedding stockpiles are crucial, Bella. For a 100-cow herd, you're looking at 8 to 12 tons of silage or haylage per week. And here's a key point from Dr. Sarah Johnson at Cornell University. During severe weather, cows may need up to 10% more feed to maintain body temperature.
Wow, that's a significant increase. What about water systems? I imagine frozen pipes are a major concern.
Absolutely. The University of Nebraska-Lincoln Extension emphasizes the need for insulated pipes and backup water tanks. Each lactating cow needs 30 to 40 gallons of water daily. That's a lot of H2O to keep flowing when it's colder than a witch's, well, you know.
I think our listeners can fill in the blank there, Douglas. Now let's talk about structural integrity. How can farmers ensure their barns can handle the snow load?
Great question. As a general rule, farmers should consider removing snow from roofs if accumulation exceeds 4 inches of wet snow or 10 inches of dry snow. But here's the kicker. Always consult a structural engineer for specific recommendations. Every barn is different.
That makes sense, and I imagine power backup is crucial too.
You bet. The Penn State Extension recommends sizing your generator to handle 20 to 25% more than your estimated wattage needs. Remember, when the lights go out, dairy farming doesn't stop.
Absolutely not. Cows don't take snow days, do they? Now what about staff preparedness? How can farmers ensure their team is ready for a severe storm?
Great point, Bella. It's essential to develop a clear plan with your team for managing shifts during severe weather. This includes arranging for on-farm accommodation if necessary. You want to make sure your staff can safely get to work and stay there if roads become impassable.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, once the storm hits, what should farmers focus on?
Herd comfort and health are top priorities. The University of Wisconsin-Madison Extension has a great guide on recognizing and managing cold stress in cattle. Look for signs like shivering, huddling, or reduced activity.
And I imagine maintaining routines is important too.
Crucial, Bella. Cows are creatures of habit. Stick to regular feeding and milking schedules as much as possible. Consistency is key for maintaining production.
Speaking of production, what does recent research tell us about the effects of cold stress on milk production?
Great question, Bella. A 2021 study in the Journal of Dairy Science found that severe cold stress can lead to a 3 to 8% decrease in milk production. The study also noted that this decrease can persist for up to 2 weeks after the cold stress event ends.
That's significant. What about the safety of farm workers during these extreme conditions?
That's a crucial point, Bella. The Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, emphasizes the importance of proper protective gear for farm workers. This includes insulated and water-resistant clothing, multiple layers, and protection for the ears, face, hands, and feet. OSHA also recommends frequent breaks in warm areas to prevent cold stress injuries.
Essential information for keeping our farm teams safe. Now, let's talk about feed adjustments during extreme cold. I understand there's some interesting data on this?
Indeed, there is. According to the National Research Council's nutrient requirements of dairy cattle, for every 10 Fahrenheit drop below 32 degrees, cows need about a 10% increase in energy requirements. At -8 Fahrenheit, we're talking a 40% increase.
That's a significant jump. How can farmers meet these increased energy needs?
Great question, Bella. The University of Minnesota Extension suggests increasing the energy content of the total mixed ration, or TMR. This might mean adding extra corn silage or incorporating bypass fat. And here's a crucial point: ensure constant access to clean water. Even a 10% drop in water consumption can lead to a 3% decrease in milk production, according to research in the Journal of Dairy Science.
Fascinating. Do we have any specific veterinary recommendations for cattle care during extreme cold?
We do, Bella. The American Veterinary Medical Association advises increasing caloric intake by 10 to 15% for each 10 Fahrenheit drop below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. They also recommend providing windbreaks and good bedding to help cattle maintain body heat. Regular hoof checks are crucial too, as frozen ground can cause hoof injuries.
Great advice, Douglas. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about financial management during extended storm periods. What advice do you have for our listeners?
The USDA recommends having 3 to 6 months of operating expenses saved for emergencies. It's also crucial to review your farm insurance to ensure it covers winter-related damages. The USDA Risk Management Agency offers various insurance options for dairy operations.
And what about government assistance programs?
Great point. Farmers should familiarize themselves with USDA disaster assistance programs like the Livestock Indemnity Program, or LIP, and the Emergency Assistance for Livestock, Honeybees, and Farm-Raised Fish Program, also known as LAP.
Those acronyms are quite a mouthful, aren't they? Any other financial tips?
Yes, one more thing, Bella. While it's not guaranteed, some feed or equipment suppliers might be willing to discuss extended payment terms during challenging times. It never hurts to ask, but always have these discussions well in advance of emergencies.
That's a great tip, Douglas. Now let's talk about a major concern during blizzards: managing milk storage when roads are closed. What do farmers need to know?
Well, Bella, the FDA requires milk to be cooled to 45 degrees Fahrenheit or below within 2 hours after milking and maintained at that temperature. At 45 degrees, you've got about 24 hours of storage time. Drop that to 35 degrees, and you can stretch it to 72 hours.
That's crucial information. Any other tips for managing milk during road closures?
Absolutely. Stay in close contact with your milk hauler and processor. Many have emergency plans for severe weather events, and as a last resort, know the EPA guidelines for proper milk disposal. Always check with your local extension office for specific regulations.
Great advice, Douglas. Now let's talk about how technology can help during these winter storms.
Technology can be a real game changer, Bella. A 2019 study in the Journal of Dairy Science found that automated health monitoring systems can identify health issues up to 4 days earlier than traditional methods. And a 2020 study showed automated feeding systems can improve feed efficiency by up to 6% and milk yield by up to 2%.
That's impressive. Any other tech tips?
The University of Wisconsin-Madison Extension recommends installing cameras in key areas to reduce the need for physical checks in dangerous conditions. And don't forget about on-farm weather stations. The National Weather Service offers guidelines for setting these up.
Fascinating stuff, Douglas. Now, I understand that different regions face unique challenges during winter storms. Can you break that down for us?
Absolutely, Bella. Let's start with northern New England and eastern Canada. Dr. Emily White, a meteorologist at the National Weather Service, warns that this region can expect more frequent and intense nor'easters. Farmers there should invest in heavy-duty snow removal equipment and consider wind-blocking structures around barns.
What about the Mid-Atlantic region?
In the Mid-Atlantic, ice storms are a major concern. Tom Brown, Emergency Management Coordinator for Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, advises farmers to stock up on sand or sawdust for traction and be prepared for rapid freeze-thaw cycles that can damage structures.
And what about the Great Lakes area?
The Great Lakes. Dr. White cautions that lake-effect snow can dump feet of snow in hours. Farmers in this region should have a plan for rapid snow removal and reinforced barn roofs to handle extreme loads.
That's really helpful, Douglas. Now, as we wrap up, what advice do you have for farmers once the storm has passed?
Great question, Bella. Post-storm recovery is crucial. First, assess damage systematically. Check structures, equipment, and livestock for any issues. Second, document everything. Take photos and keep detailed records for insurance purposes. Third, reach out to your local farm service agency for potential disaster assistance programs. Finally, use the experience to review and revise your emergency plan for future events.
Excellent advice, Douglas. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
Remember, Bella, weathering winter storms requires preparation, adaptability, and resilience, qualities that dairy farmers have in abundance. By implementing these strategies, farmers can protect their herds, maintain production, and emerge stronger when the sky is clear.
Wonderfully said, Douglas. To our listeners, we hope this guide helps you weather whatever Mother Nature throws your way. Stay safe out there, and may your barns stand strong and your milk tanks stay full.
And remember, for more in-depth information on this topic and other crucial issues facing dairy farmers, visit our website at thebullvine.com. Until next time, keep those cows happy and healthy.
That's all for today's vital episode on blizzard survival for dairy farms. If you're feeling more prepared, thank you for joining us in this crucial discussion. Subscribe so you never miss essential farm management advice. Share this episode with every dairy farmer you know and leave a review. Your experiences matter. Remember, in the world of dairy farming, it's adapt or struggle. The future of our industry depends on our resilience and preparedness, so stay informed, stay safe, and keep your operations running smoothly, no matter what Mother Nature throws your way.